This short talk is about TVRL learning systems. Most people keep asking us, what do you do at TVRLS? Well, TVRLS is a small research-based behavior systems and human resource development company. We are a team of about normally 10 to 15 people. It keeps varying, but with a large number of about 30 associates from different parts of the country participating periodically as faculty and facilitators in a number of the activities we undertake. We do a number of things. First thing that we are very proud of is the work that we have done on competency mapping. We train people in competency mapping, and normally our philosophy is to equip organizations with the capability to do competency mapping themselves so that they don't have to depend all the time on consultants. The reason why we do it is that we believe competency mapping is the job of every HR person. But unfortunately, in the last several years, our knowledge on competency mapping has developed, but our academic institutions have not kept pace with the developments, and they don't train adequately the HR candidates in competency mapping. So we believe that organizations should do the competency mapping themselves. So we are in the business of training not only HR people but also line managers in competency mapping. The reason is competency mapping is a joint effort by the competency mapper and the performer of the job. Normally the performer of the job has a lot of understanding of what is the kind of tasks that the role holder is expected to do and what kind of knowledge, attitude, skills are required. That is why a competency mapper who brings with him or her the language of competency mapping works with the line manager and develops the competencies required to perform the roles. Many people misunderstand competency mapping as a competency assessment. We differentiate it. Competency assessment deals with assessing whether a particular individual has the competencies required to do a given job currently or likely job in future. Whereas competency mapping deals with profiling the competencies required to perform a job assigned to the individual or a role that an organization has or a position that the organization has developed. So competency mapping gives you the details of the objectives of the role in the light of the mission and vision of the company and the departmental goals, and the key tasks that are to be performed as a part of the role, and the key activities that are to be performed, and the knowledge, attitude, skills, values, etc. required to perform the job successfully, and also the details of the internal and external role set members of the role holder and the indicators of these competencies and so on. So we specialize in training and building in-house capabilities on competency mapping. We also undertake competency mapping exercises for organizations, but we normally warn the organizations when consultants do the competency mapping for you, they walk away with a lot of knowledge, and you only are left with competency models, which is not the best way of getting the return on investment. However, if you feel not having capabilities, not interested in doing competency mapping yourself, we are quite happy to undertake those kind of exercises. There are a large enough number of companies and organizations with whom we have done competency mapping exercises. I will not go into these details. You can always write to us and get those details. The second most important product of ours, which we have specialized from the start of our company, is a 360-degree feedback. In fact, I proudly say that I am the one who started the methodology which later called in US as 360-degree feedback at IIM Ahmedabad in mid-80s. We started a 3-day program on leadership, styles and organizational effectiveness, in which we used to get the names and addresses of people who worked with each potential participant and send them a series of questionnaires and collect anonymous feedback. And when the participants came to attend the program, trained them on understanding these instruments and gave them feedback on the second day and helped them to work out action plans on the third day. This became very popular when I was at IIM Ahmedabad. And subsequently in US somebody called it 360 degree feedback. And when we started TVRLS, this is something which we have begun, and by now we have profiled about 15,000 senior and top level executives. We also extended and developed tools on 360 degree feedback for school principals, college principals, teachers, NGOs, and so on. We have specially prepared manuals on these issues. So 360 degree feedback is another product that we have. The third thing that we do, which again is there from the beginning of our company, is the HRD audit or Human Resource Development audit. The reason why we started HRD audit was that both Uday Parikh and I were instrumental in conceptualizing the first Human Resource Development Department in 1974 with Larsen and Toubro. And we christened the new department, separated it out, created it, and linked it with the personnel and OD department. And since then, we worked with a large number of companies, and we developed a HRD philosophy and principles of HRD. And we perceive HR as an inevitable part of organizational effectiveness and organizational growth. Many people did not understand the philosophy of HRD and simply started renaming personnel departments as HR departments, training departments as HR departments, and so on. By about mid-80s, some of them were influenced by the American trends, and in US, HRD became the new name of training and development. Whereas in India, HRD is a philosophy, and we strongly believe that HRD means competence building, commitment building, and culture building. And there are a large number of HR systems and HR principles. So for us, HRD is a philosophy. HRD is a way of life. HRD is organizational effectiveness. For us, I think it is synonymous. So many people started not understanding this and not doing the right kind of things. That is when we introduced a system called HR audit. HR audit is meant to visit a company, look at what kind of HR activities they are doing, understand the organizational goals, both short term and long term, and at the end of it, examine whether the various HR systems they have, whether it is performance appraisal, induction, learning and development, recruitment, competency mapping, assessment centers, whatever they have, are they contributing to the development of competencies for the future of the organization? Are they helping the organization to achieve its goals? Are they creating intellectual capital? Are they contributing directly or indirectly to the financial and other forms of performance of a company, and so on? We also look at HR competencies of people, whether the HR department itself has competencies, whether the line managers and workmen have also learning attitudes, whether the top management styles are in tune with the uh, HR philosophy and organizational effectiveness, and so on. So HR audit is a comprehensive methodology using observation, using interviews, using questionnaires, using secondary analysis of data, and so on, to come up with our conclusions and with a diagnostic report. So although the term we use audit particularly because I think in those days Aditya Vikram Birla started using this particular term, and we thought that that is a very interesting kind of a term to use in 1990s, early 90s, and we started promoting this as a mechanism of examining HRD. It is not exactly like the audit, but it borrows from the principles of audit and so on. It is more of a diagnostic and organization building tool. We have written a number of books on this. We also prepared a Hre Scorecard. So we have at TVRLS the third product, Human Resource Development Audit. A group of us visit the company, understand their long-term goals, look at the current systems through a process of interviewing, and at the end of it submit a report on what is good about the company which they should nurture and what is not so good about the company, and so on. A fourth product that we have is a performance management system. I think since 1974 we have been working with a philosophy that performance management is the core of human resource development. When you have the right kind of a performance management system, you are able to help every individual to apply his or her talent and get the best out of himself for the role he is performing or for the department in which the role is placed and for the organization and so on. So we perceive performance management is an excellent talent management tool and is in the interests of both the individual and the organization. We also believe that performance management's output is not performance appraisal or ratings, but it is improved performance and a sense of happiness, a sense of belongingness, and certainly enhancement and contribution to the profits and growth of the organization and so on. We also believe that when you overemphasize performance appraisal ratings and focus on normal probability and force fit people and things like that, it does a little more of damage rather than good. So we are quite careful in working with companies who claim that we want to have an appraisal system which is objective and so on, by telling them that they can never be anything like a perfect objectivity. Performance appraisals, the moment you talk of appraisals, are always issues that are that cause a little bit of pain. So how do you have a performance management system and divert the attention of people from pain to the pleasure? Performance management system should enable people to apply their competencies and get the best out of themselves and contribute their best to the organization. So we have our own philosophy on this, and we work with organizations on promoting the right kind of performance management systems. We redesign performance management and so on. We also do a lot of organizational climate surveys. And our belief of organizational climate survey is quite unlike, let us say, Gallup survey or Great Places to Work and so on, which are certainly very good surveys, and we believe what they are doing is an excellent kind of a job. But we believe in making tailor-made tools for the organization. We do not believe that standardized tools that are brought from elsewhere in the world will have full applicability in our country. Even if they are applicable, they are useful for benchmarking purposes, but not useful necessarily fully for organization development purposes. So we do make tailor-made organizational climate tools and help the organization to use the data and improve themselves. We are also into institution building activities where we work with educational institutions, help them to examine their process and systems and get the best out of it. I must say, for all these activities, we have very well established books, and we also have manuals and so on. For example, another product which we have been working on for the last several years is an assessment center. In fact, I have introduced the concept of assessment center in the year 1975 in Gujarat, when we were trying to recruit people to train entrepreneurs on behalf of the Gujarat Industrial Development Corporation, Gujarat State Financial Corporation, Gujarat State Industries Corporation, and Gujarat Industrial Development Corporation. The four of them put together a body called Parishram, and they extended entrepreneurship development to different districts in Gujarat, and these used to be led by a person by name, by a role by name project leaders. In recruiting project leaders and in developing them, we used an assessment center approach. Since then we have been promoting, but it is only post-liberalization the concept of assessment centers and development centers picked up. We have mastered this. We prepare tailor-made tools for companies. We work with them in designing assessment centers. Now, one thing I must say, which is very peculiar about TVRLS work, is we don't undertake mass assessment and development centers. Like if a company comes and tells us that in the next 1 month you conduct about 100 assessment and development centers and put a large number of about 700 to 1,000 people through them, we will be very, very wary about it. It's not that we will not undertake, but we are tremendously hesitant because we believe assessment and development centers, if they are not carefully planned and they are not designed and they are not used the way I think they should be used, they could be misleading and they could also bring down the credibility of assessment and development centers. We normally take per assessment center a maximum of about 15 people. If there is 2 batches, the highest number that we take is 30, but we prefer them to be around 20 to 25 because each assessment center will need to have assessor to assess them and so on. We develop our own tools in terms of role plays. It could be in basket exercises, it could be simulation exercises and things like that. We follow a methodology and we do quite a bit of research on that. So for assessment centers, again, we have a large number of tools available with us. We have books and manuals and so on. So one thing very interesting about the TVRLS is for every work that we do, we have a book and we have a well laid out manual and also a very well standardized kind of a process. I am very proud to say that we perhaps is the only company which is research based and we have a book for every product and a manual for every product, and that is the reason why rather than I think undertaking too many of the consulting projects, we prefer to train the trainers. So we have train the trainer program on assessment and development centers, which we have run by now almost about 20 of them. We have trained the trainer in competency mapping. We have completed about 24 of them. We have also trained the trainer in 360-degree feedback. We also train people in performance management. So these is what we call as advanced learning programs or ALPs, which are available on our website. In addition to this, we also do undertake online learning programs, which we have introduced in the recent past. Our OLEPs have just begun, where our interest is to disseminate all the knowledge that we have. I'm sure some of you have seen some of the books that were brought out by me and my colleagues at TVRLS. We use it to hold conferences every 2 to 3 years, and we have completed 4 such conferences on 360 feedback, assessment centers, and performance management systems. And also it included competency mapping and so on. So there are 4 volumes of books. We completed a book, 100 Managers in Action, in which we picked up all the 8,000 to 9,000 people who have gone through our 360-degree feedback and picked up the most influential people using their 360 data and profiled their life stories. The book does not give anything about their 360, but 360 was used only to pick up people, and the life stories of the people and what lessons can be drawn has been learned from there. We also wrote and facilitated the IIMA book series, Managers Who Make a Difference. In large number of tools that I have used in that particular book were borrowed from TVRLS. In fact, if you go through that book, you will find the copyright of the book is TVRLS, but we have simply given that particular book and our knowledge to IMA through the courtesy of Random House and so on. So we have a number of books. We have about 2 dozens of books. Notable among them are the books on HRD audit, book on HRD missionary, the book on the power of 360-degree feedback, 100 Managers in Action, HRD Scorecard 2500, and another book we have written along with Professor Ram Narayan on organization development and so on. If you visit our website www.tvrls.com, you will get a good idea about the kind of publications that we have and so on. So that is all about TVRLS. We have our own philosophy. We believe in octopus values. We try to practice to the large extent octopus values in terms of managing our own kind of a firm. We don't mince words. When people join, they say that we are not very sure if you want to make a career from here, because we are a small organization. If you aspire to be somebody on your own, then you certainly can learn for a couple of years and later on set up your own thing, or you join with increased kind of a knowledge in another company and so on. So we believe and we practice octopus values. Finally, I think our entire belief and our entire orientation is that all of us are born talented, and in our lifetime we don't even use a small part of the talent. Every organization should focus on creating a culture that can nurture the talent and create intellectual capital for itself by enhancing the intellectual capital of each individual. It is great people that will make great organizations and great institutions, and TVRLS believes in facilitating mechanisms that can be used to get the best talent out of people. So we hope you will experience some of our programs and experience some of the products or read some of our books and get the best out of yourself. All the best in your life. Happy life and happy learning to all of you. Thank you very much for listening to this talk.